Good afternoon, Foundation staff. This is Dr. Sherman, and we are here for another episode of Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, where we're going to hang out on stream, talk about SCPs, answer your questions live, and anything else we do to kill time for a little bit. This is a casual 1-hour stream, and so welcome and hit your questions in the comments or the chat. Meanwhile, I'll pull up the SCP wiki right here so I can look up what you send to me, because you guys ask questions about SCPs I've never heard of all the time. There's only 8,000 of them now. Sheesh. Hello, everybody in the chat. Moss Child, Random Red Boy, Sam, Stupid Mortal. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button. We like to likes to be higher than the viewer count, as best we can keep it that way. SCP Smasher Pass, that would be a very long video. Although, I mean, a lot of SCPs are buildings. Can you really? I mean, you can smash a building, but not in the, well, you could. No fraternizing with the anomalies. That's the answer to your query. Trying to check the chat without knocking my phone over. As you can see, we are outside the studio today. We're out waiting for a rendezvous with a person of interest. So we've got about 45 minutes until they show up, so that's how long this office hours is going to be. What if SCP-173 looks in a mirror? Well, Gems and Minerals, it doesn't do anything, because SCP-173 isn't worried about looking at itself, it's worried about you looking at it. That's right, it just wants attention, and if you're not giving it attention, you get the Snicker Snack. Or at least your neck gets the Snicker Snack. Umbrian plays, I'd like to help you, but I don't know what kind of danger you're in. Maybe you should call site security. Well, I do notice a silly Billy guy in the chat, scrolling for more questions. Pour the indestructible lizard's toxic goop slime on the tree. So we've used all sorts of acidic compounds on the tree. It still hasn't worked, unfortunately. But we're working our way there. Rancy Gaming, thank you for the first dono of the stream. Make sure to grab yourself some root beer candies on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, how would the Foundation contact Cole McGrath from the Infamous games? All right, so when we talk about Infamous, we're talking about things that mainly take place in one city, and we're talking about anomalous people running all over that place. So the first thing we would have to do in the case of Infamous is set up a perimeter. You cannot let people in and out of the city. Mobile task forces would surround the area at designated checkpoints. We would set up drones floating around the vicinity, keeping an eye on everything, and we would make sure that everything was contained to the city and that there was a disinformation campaign so no one knew what was going on in there. After that, we would start, pardon me, we would start dealing with the people inside and trying to neutralize and contain the anomalous folk. After which, we would, once we got everything under control, we would deploy localized amnestics to the area, make sure that people didn't remember what happened there, and try and retain normalcy. Next up, I see the luck of an ace. Thank you both for your first dono of the stream and for being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a lollipop on your way past the commissary. Is there any similarities between SCP-096 and a Minecraft Enderman? So, there's similarities, but there's also contrast, as is anything. The big thing that's similar, everyone knows it, is that if you look at an Enderman's face, it chases you down. Which is pretty funny that it's more like 096 than the thing it's mostly named after, Slenderman. So, 1 point on the 096 likelihood. But, whereas Endermen are a race, or a species, I guess, of which there are multitudes, to our knowledge, there's only one 096. I hope that to be true very much. But because of that, we only have one SCP-096 in containment versus the multitude of Endermen. And so with that, and they're weak to water, which 096 isn't. So mostly it's just the looking at the face thing. But they may have a common ancestor. Heading back to the chat, thank you very much, Luck of an Ace. Meanwhile, Site42 staff, I noticed we're over 300 viewers, and we've surpassed 100 likes, but we want that like count to be higher than the viewer count, so do your duty. Let's move this a little more so it stops falling backwards. How many religious SCPs are there? So, religious artifacts are very commonly anomalous in our tenure here, and so you will find multitude, and a great way to figure this out, let me make sure that there is a tag for it, is when you go to the SCP Wiki main page and you look at the sidebar on the left side, you can see at the bottom of that sidebar under Discovery, there's a section called Tag Search. And the tags are at the bottom of every SCP page that is successful on the wiki. We have a tagging team, and they tag articles and tales on the wiki with what is in that story. Now, if you're a very, very large SCP, like SCP-096, you have your own tag, so people can look up SCP-096 stories. For our searches here, you can use the tag search, and you can type in religious, religious-fiction, or mythological-fiction, and we can get a series of stories that are under the tags of those. So if I look up religious, I get 403 results. Now, of course, these are all SCPs and probably tales as well, but oh, yes, that is a lot of SCPs. And so, yeah, that is a whole lot of religious SCPs. So yes, I would go to say that we have a lot of them. Oh, catching up with Super Chats. Luck of an Ace, thank you again for your second dono. Another thing is that an Enderman gives you a chance to look away while 096 jumps you immediately, whether or not you're aware of the mistake. I did not know that. Not a Minecraft player myself. But interesting. So you get like a chance with the Endermen. I wonder how that works. I'll have to watch a video and see how it acts. Andre, good to see you in the chat, and thank you for your first dono of the stream. Make sure to grab yourself an apple pie on your way past the commissary. What would happen if SCP-507 was sent into SCP-2935? If I'm remembering correctly, we're talking about the reluctant dimension hopper, if we mean SCP-507. Double checking. Yep, 507. So the thing about 507 to remember while I look up 2935 is that, other than its dimension hopping capabilities, 507 is just a normal dude. So it's not as if he has his own anomalous powers to work with, and in fact, it can't even control its own teleportation. So anytime it ends up in a bad place, it is pretty much messed up. All right, as a reminder, 2935, isn't this, I recognize the picture. Is this the cave to a universe that's had an apocalypse? And then it's a sign that an apocalypse is coming to your universe or something? Space-time anomaly within a limestone cave, cemetery whose last interred individual died in 1908, was discovered by Foundation personnel after radio signals were discovered emanating from the site. Anomaly is a nearly exact replica reality of modern Earth in the year 2016, with the primary exception that being that all life, including both biological and non-biological, as well as any sentient entities, machines, computers, and any lifelike phenomena within 2935 ended on April 20th, 2016. 420. Nice. So yes, everything in there died, and us finding it seems to mean, if I remember correctly, that we are going to end 2. And so we're trying to stop that from happening to us. So with that in mind, depending on its anomalous effects in there, I believe that 507 would become a harbinger for doom for whatever universe it goes to, right? I'm still scanning because it's a DJ Cactus article, so it is long. SCP-2935 Laconic. And while I'm looking this up, I'm going to check on RANC Gaming real quick. The best part is that in the infamous universe, they did that, but it didn't work. So the world's governments just called the conduits bioterrorists. Well, that would be our next move. We'd have to lie and say they are bioterrorists to keep cover. I just saw some $2 donos scroll by, and the chat is flying, so I can't keep up. Give me a second. Wave Man, love your content, always makes me laugh. Thank you very much for that. I am happy to help out. We're not here for a long time, so I'm trying to give everyone a good time. Especially in the Foundation, none of us are here for a long time. Where were the other ones? Where were the other ones? I wish there was a dono window on mobile. Ooh, can I? Hey, the super chat section. I can check it. Could SCP-99 be contained in a Pokeball? I believe if this were in a Pokemon universe, then it would very easily be able to be contained in one. Have you seen or played Pacific Drive? I have only heard about it from Commander James Stephanie Sterling, and it sounds pretty dope. I'm interested in seeing more about it. What would happen if 096 looks in a mirror? Nothing, because it doesn't care if it already knows what its face looks like. It only cares that you don't know what its face looks like. And real quick, let me shout out Mythical Drawer, Dell, and Who Gamin' for those rapid-fire donos. Make sure to grab yourself some tasty cakes over on your way past the commissary, as well as Waveman26. Going back, though, now that I've got the super chats covered, and I see another one, I will catch up. Wait, there we are. I'm back. And while I'm looking up 2935 Laconic, make sure to hit that like button. We're at 187 likes and 326 viewers. We're more than halfway to topping that number. So make it happen, team. I believe in you. Site-42 staff does not lose. SCP-2935 Laconic. Boom. SCP-2935 has been sealed with concrete. It is a cave leading to an alternate dimension in which everything in the world suddenly died of no noticeable cause. No decomposition occurs. Everything is just dead, gathering dust. At the end, it is revealed in a twist that this is one of potentially many other dead dimensions, and when someone comes out of the cave back into a healthy dimension, it does the same thing to them. So yes, if 507 survived, it would be the harbinger of doom to any dimension it ended up in. Thank you for the question, Andre, even if it made me scratch my head a little bit and do some research. That's what we're here for. Yakov, or Jackov. I hope it's Yakov. That sounds better. Thank you for your first donut of the stream. Make sure to grab yourself some gyros on your way past the commissary. And Unknown Sierra, thank you for your first donut of the stream. Make sure to grab yourself a unicorn roast on your way past the commissary. They're very tender today. Why don't we have a Renji, or if he's too stupid, 04, what, I don't know, oh, Reggie, I see what you did there. Why don't we have Reggie, or if he's too stupid, which he is, have 049 make the tree scream. Also love your videos, keep it up. Well, thank you for the compliment. We're happy to serve here at Site-42. We secure, we contain, we protect, and we entertain. So 049 is not interested in making the tree scream. It is way too wrapped up in its cure, and honestly, after what it did to Dr. Ham, I'm not interested in working with it anymore. I doubt it could make the tree scream, and it's already annoying me too much with the gender switcher stone, so Andre, thank you for your next donut of the stream. Keep that pie coming, my friend. Can SCP Foundation contain a storybook of SCP Foundation containing a storybook of SCP Foundation containing a storybook of SCP Foundation containing a storybook of SCP Foundation? Error. Yes, we most certainly could. It would be the facilities of the pataphysics department to handle, and they are excellent at containing narrative levels. The only thing we have problems with are bigger deities that can supplant their own narrative levels, such as SCP-3812. What are your thoughts on SCP-239, Witch Child, and its containment? I have not looked at the containment procedures for the Witch Child in years. So, 239 was kept in telekill coded cell. Ah, man, back when we had telekill alloy. Meanwhile, mythical drawer, make sure to grab yourself some more mincemeat pies over at the commissary. An ECG machine and a drip filled with pentobarbital mixed in daily. Foundation personnel shall refer to 239 as a witch. 239 is an 8-year-old child named Sigurus Stefansdottir. She is a powerful reality bender able to do pretty much whatever she wants, teleport people, transform people, etc., whose powers telekill can block. Foundation has told her she is a witch to control her. In light of Incident 239B, where Dr. Clef tried to terminate 239, she's kept in an artificial coma. So, I suggest that I think things are pretty much as they are with the Witch Child. We should not try to actually destroy it because it's something that we could pull out of its coma and psychologically manipulate into helping the Foundation were that desperate of a measure to be needed. But hopefully that never turns out to be the case. Waveman, here's some more money to help grow the channel. Waveman, that's what heroes do. Much appreciated. In case you guys haven't heard, we are currently moving from our house to a new house because the landlords are selling the one we're renting and they need us out in 3 months. Yeesh. And so we sent a letter saying, hey, maybe give us a year to stay, but we don't think they're going to take us up on it based on what we've heard. So we're trying to turn this into an opportunity. If we have more patrons, more members, and more donos, then that would help us to take this bad situation and actually turn it into an upgrade situation. We can get a better studio and make it easier to make bigger and better content. So we're trying to look on the bright side, and your help with that is most appreciated. And of course, if you can't dono because, times are tough, we get it, then sharing Site 42, making sure to like and comment on all the videos so the algorithm helps them out. That is exactly how you can help, even if you are not available to dono. Of which I'm talking about right now, we're at 213 likes and 221 viewers. So you are this close to surpassing likes over the view count. So Site 42 staff, hit that like button. I believe in you. All right, while the super chats are being quiet, I'm going to switch over to the main chat. Live chat now visible. Unfortunately, I can't look at both on mobile, but this seems to be working out pretty well. I'm glad I can make sure not to miss super chats. I'm still stuck in Site 42's floorboards. Well, local Chaos Insurgency agent, which it's pretty local if you're in my floorboards. Choke on it. Choke on a spider down there. It's what you get for your failed infiltration. Did anyone find out who is SCP-001? Yes. After much research, I discovered that the true SCP-001 was the friends we made along the way. What if there was a fight between SCP-173 versus Weeping Angels versus Medusa? So, number one, Medusa is getting ganked because both of its enemies are already statues, so Medusa is not going to be of any help. So Medusa's getting ganked immediately. Now, between 173 and Weeping Angels, even if I give 173 the handicap that the Weeping Angels there's only one of them rather than multiple, I do not think that So Weeping Angels can see. We know that because they hunt. And that means that they do have to look at SCP-173 to stop it. So yeah, you get two weeping angels to look at each other and they just stare at each other forever. So that's what would happen. It would be a tie. Because I don't think 173 has life energy in the way that humans or mortals do. So I don't think that the weeping angel could feed off 173. And therefore, we know that weeping angels can just snap your neck, the same as 173 does. So they don't always like time travel you back in time and eat your life energy. They do just, well, it's not energy in that case, life energy. It's time energy if they're sending you back and eating the rest of your time. So I guess they could time teleport 173, but because they both have to stop when looked at, I assume that it would end in a stare-off. And so with that in mind, if there's more than one weeping angel, then one weeping angel could lock up 173, and the other one could come from behind. Therefore, only in a one-on-one does 173 have a chance. But if there's multiple, 173 is taking the L. All right, let me get that super chat I just saw pop up. Hey, refresh. I just saw someone do that. So Dr. Sherman, the Year 2 series Death Battle wants to try the indestructible lizard versus Doomsday, but they don't know how to talk about the lizard because the SCP Foundation has no established canon. Very interesting. I did not know that Death Battle was considering talking about 682. So yes, I mean, here's the thing. They do the same thing whenever they talk about Superman or whenever they talk about other entities that have multiple forms. When they talk about Superman, they take basically an average of its abilities. And so they just got to do the same thing with 682. They read a bunch of 682 stories and they look at the feats and they amalgamate it. The bigger problem is that because SCP does not really focus on power scaling and really having a lot of action-based stories, then what you end up with is that you do not have as many feats to pull from, and therefore it's much harder to gauge it. So while the non-canon thing I don't think is a problem, because they could do what they do with Superman or other entities with multiple iterations, I do think they run into the problem that they cannot really gauge as many feats, whereas comic book entities, video game characters, have much more markable feats to work with. There was a blue super chat that I just can't find. Oh, Andre, I found it. It loaded. Thank you. What will happen to SCP-5000 during when day breaks? So, I believe since 5000 takes place in the human noosphere, it's not a physical entity, so it won't be melted. But it has to deal with the fact that every human being and other anomalous entity, flesh, animal, tree, living creature is now a flesh monster, and they're combined in a flesh ball embrace of happiness thing that it's probably going to get very bored with human life. So I think that's a bad ending for 5000 because it's got nothing better to do and or control and be malevolent towards since everything is now bleh. So just like the Foundation wanted to destroy all of humanity to stop SCP-5000, when day breaks would be a really quick solution for that. Except for, the survivors, because there will be survivors during when day breaks, just not a lot of them, although I think their time is very limited. Would you make a video regarding SCP-191 in the future? Also, lovely suggestion earlier. Unfortunately, I'm going to be assigned to Site 13. God help me. Oh no. We all know what happened to Site 13 now. It wasn't good. Get a transfer. Quick. Get out. Get out. Meanwhile, 191. Let me see what 191 is. SCP-191. What are you? I don't know. Housed in a 6.6 meter by 6 meter room, Site 17. Not requested any furnishings or entertainment. has a futon, a power outlet with an emergency cutoff box, hazardous waste disposal, loose sleeveless garments made from cotton, fresh clothing provided daily, garments sterilized according to standard procedures, limited self-care, including draining waste and recharging internal batteries. Female human child, approximately blank years old, is believed to have been a test subject of several experimental surgeries performed by the late Dr. Blank Blank. 80% of the left half of the face and skull has been removed, with the eye and ear replaced by a complex transceiver system that allows to receive and transmit not only visual and auditory input, but a wider spectrum of electromagnetic radiation ranging from low-frequency radio, high-energy gamma rays. So it's a human cyborg, USB, Ethernet, FireWire, DIN 8-pin, as well as 7 other interfaces, processor array, artificial components instead of a right hand and right foreleg, data expunged, lungs, heart, major blood vessels have been replaced with mechanical analogs, digestive system reconfigured to a point where regular food, blah, 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 data expunged, blah, 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 that's a lot of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Recovered by Foundation agents during a brief collaborative effort with the Global Occult Coalition, in which a raid was conducted in the laboratory of Dr. Redacted, a suspected member of Redacted. 191 was the only test subject recovered from the lab. All other test subjects expired during the raid, either disposed of by Dr. Blank or eliminated as hostiles. Preliminary assessment concluded that full reconstruction was impossible, that the components introduced were too technologically advanced to risk becoming widely known, and that it could be a source of valuable data regarding data expunged if kept alive. Blamed on a local serial killer. Responded well to containment, completely docile, mental acuity is questionable, mood seems consistent, inscrutable, melancholy, won't make eye contact, has not been cheerful or humorous, no signs of mental distress, testing capabilities is a separate page, uses MS Paint, plays a video game, a video effects program. All right, so it is a cyborg that can use computers. So right now, there's not a whole lot of me to eat on for a video because it's just little robot girl, what can use computers good. But let me see if it has any tales going on. This is a series 1. Tales edition. And by the way, I always preach, if you want to see more stories about your favorite SCPs, go to the series list in the left bar, series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then hit in the top of there, instead of picking one of the number areas, pick series blank, Tales edition. Then you scroll to the SCP you want, and it lists, we do our best, every SCP based on, or every tale based on that SCP. So for SCP-191, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tales. And in those tales, oh, this is big. So, does the child go to war? This is a lot to read. Oh, if I open them all, I can at least see what 191 does in this. Because what I'm trying to see is if 191, becomes a soldier. Let me go to the page source. This will make it quicker. Page source. Where's my find button? Find on page 191. It only mentions it once as possibly being a friend of 2273. Well, that was a dead end. Drat. Long story short, I'll look into 191 and see if there's anything to chew on there. If anything, it could be a very good OC for a femme-presenting cosplayer to make a cyborg outfit and act in the SCP universe. and it could be good as a side character in a story at least. And maybe it could be the protagonist if it wants to do a story about finding its family or raging against its creator or stuff like that. I mean, there's always stuff if you dig in a little bit. All right, Max Level Bob. Max Level 1 Bob. I guess that's what I'm going to call you. Thank you for your 2 donos. I'm catching up on the super chats. What if you gave 683 the sheet that makes you use your blood to complete it? So I think you mean 682. And 682, I believe, was able to resist it. If I go to the SCP-682 termination log. Sorry, you asked the same question twice, so I'll double answer it. And also, grab yourself some... grab yourself a patty melt on your way past the commissary. So SCP-682... Oh, geez. So, that's right. To do this, I have to search through like 10 pages. Ay caramba. Termination log, where are you? Oh, hooray. They didn't separate this one into multiple pages, so I can find it very easily. The next task I need is to find out what SCP number is the sheet music? 012. So now we search the experiment log here for 012 and see what happened. By the way, I hope you're studying, because all of these research tactics I'm saying out loud while I do them are how you can become a better SCP researcher in your own time. 012, search. Mentioned 10 times, but that's 1012. Item SCP-012, here we go. Tissue test record not applicable, termination test record. At 15 seconds, SCP-012 is lowered into the containment chamber. 682 achieves visual contact with 012. At 26 seconds, although 682 approaches 012, this action appears to have been made by 682's own free will and not due to the mind-affecting properties of 012. At 35 seconds, physical alterations begin to manifest and affect all ink written on any piece of paper, which tests later identify as dried blood from SCP-682. This anomalous effect affects all ink in a 500-meter radius, possessing the same anomalous properties as 012. At 47 seconds, in the ensuing breach of security, 682 breaches containment, having never been observed to establish direct physical contact with 012. Notes: going over the termination attempt involving 061, that was to be expected. It also marks the fastest time 682 has been able to breach containment, in exactly 47 seconds, though 682 may break this record easily in the near future. Signed, 055. So, there you go. 682 plus 012 is, at time of recording, its fastest containment breach attempt. So, dang it. Andre, thank you for your $50 dono. Much appreciated. Thank you for helping the cause. Warning, have you seen this person? Hopefully you have not, as this is SCP Foundation researcher Dr. Sherman, and he's not real. If you have, in fact, seen this person, you have fallen into some sort of rip of fictional universe. Remain calm. Oh, no. Don't worry about that message. That was not true. It is completely false. We are the real ones. It's them outside the rip that are fake. You got me? You got me? We are real. We are actually here. We are completely intact and mentally sound and completely 100% truthfully real. Nothing, no fake here, no fiction. They're the fiction. We're in charge. We are the writers. They are the ideas. That's all. Rancy Gaming, any tips for public speaking? Well, I'm happy to help with that. The first thing I would do is see if you can find a local theater class, either at your school, at your college, a community theater. Go somewhere where they are willing to teach acting, because acting is just getting in front of people and making mistakes. And once you realize that there is no penalty for getting up in front of people and making mistakes again and again and again, you're going to be fine. The thing about mistakes that hurts people is when they feel ashamed of them. It's when they button up. It's when they get small, when they make something up and it doesn't work. Acting classes beat that out of you real quick. A reminder that every actor you have ever seen succeed, for every job they got, they had to go to 900 failed auditions. There are so many auditions that no matter how good you do, you just aren't right for the part, or they don't like the look of you that day, or you wear the wrong cologne and they just think you stink so they don't want to work with you. I don't know. There's a million reasons besides you being bad at your job, which you might also be bad at your job. There's a lot of arrogant actors out there who are self-deluded. Not me. I'm completely accurate on how bad I am at this. But with that in mind, you go out there, you learn to fail. And once you learn how to fail and that it doesn't hurt, because it's always a learning experience and it's always less important than you believe it was, then you're able to get up and just do the thing. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but several times during this stream, while I am just jabbering away here, I have misspoke and I have said things wrong. And I said like reconstruct earlier. And in my head I went, oh, you said that word wrong. But my mouth just kept going because I knew if I just fly by it, mostly it's going to be fine. No one's going to persecute me because I said reconstruct. In fact, I think it's a pretty cool pronunciation. See, I messed up during that sentence. What are you going to do? Throw me to 682? You don't have the clearance. But long story short, once you practice failing enough to have it be something you can succeed at failing, it gets a lot easier to get up in people and just shoot your piece. After that, it's of course practicing your diction, practicing your improv, practicing singing helps a lot because with rhythm and tonality practice, you can control your voice better and it makes it easier to do what you're going to do. So all of these acting classes, improv classes, singing lessons, voice lessons, speech lessons, all of these combined can help you become a better public speaker. So those are my suggestions of the day. Next time you ask me, I might come up with even more stuff. Leaf, stage 1, denial. I'm not in denial, you're in denial. The digital circus isn't an SCP, but if it was, how would it be contained? Well, max level 1 Bob. Because it seems to be taking place in a digital world that people get sucked into via VR, at least that's the theories I've heard so far. What you would need to do is very simple. Contain the servers. Lock off, if you can't move the servers, then lock down the building they're in. Obviously, if unplugging the servers would destroy the anomaly, we wouldn't want that to happen because then we can't study it. So lock down the building, contain it, keep everyone out, and then have people throw some D-class in there, see what happens, test it. Swedish Rommel, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and I guess to Site 42 in general, if this is anything to say. So make sure to grab yourself some Swedish meatballs that we just got from the Infinite IKEA while you're past the commissary. What mobile task force unit is the easiest one to work together with, Dr. Sherman? So if this is together with in general, then all of our mobile task forces are very professional. You don't have to worry about getting along with them, although, I mean, like any good military unit, there will be hazing and stuff like that. We can't help that. They are just grunts after all. They're not civilized like us researchers. But you'll get along well with them if you are the best of the best of the best, which you must be if you have been hired by us to be on a mobile task force or as a field agent. So don't worry about that. Now, if your question is which one is the easiest one to work with Dr. Sherman, as in who works underneath me, then that would be the Mobile Task Force Psi 42, codename Signal Boosters. And the Signal Boosters are my personal Mobile Task Force unit, but their duty is spreading the signal of SCP projects. That way we can get support for them. It's not always Site 42 projects, although, of course, we want to signal boost Site 42 projects. But, for instance, I just recorded this week a reaction video to SCP short film called Class R, and that's over on the Renegade Films YouTube channel. You should go watch it right now, that way you can watch my reaction later on when it comes out. But what I would ask is anybody who claims to be a Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters, should share SCP projects far and wide whenever they're seen. Donate to those causes. That way we get more and more people who say, hey, making SCP content gets you a lot of attention and money, and therefore we should make SCP content. And that's how we get bigger and better filmmakers into the SCP space, and everyone starts working together to make bigger and better projects. Then we get SCP films and movies. And while we at Site-42 are trying to spearhead that ourselves, we need help. And so that's where you, the Psi-42, come in. So keep that in mind. Stage 2, anger. Anger? I am angry about nothing, nor am I in denial about being angry. Thank you. That is not how this goes. That is, there are no stages except for the theatrical stage where you're putting on this performance of perfidious, perfunctory pestilence. The Dragon Z Films, thank you for your first dono to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some dragon fruit on your way past the commissary. Any tips for making your first SCP article? I'm going to make my first one soon, thanks. I highly suggest that you check out the video on the Site-42 channel called SCP Writing Tips from SCP Writers, because I got a video and it's a bunch of SCP tips that I've compiled over years of doing videos. People ask me all the time, and that compilation's a great place to start. Other than those, I highly suggest just practice your writing, make sure you are studious with it, fastidious, because you need to write a lot. Pardon me, you need to keep writing, you need to practice, and show your story to people and see if they like it and see what they would change. And some of their suggestions, work them in. Some of them, take the note, but then change it in a different way. Work your best to make the best story you can, because that's how you get an article on the SCP Wiki. All right, we are reaching the end of today's stream. I'm popping over to the live chat one more time. Permission to continue consuming cleaning chemicals? No, don't eat cleaning chemicals. No, stop it. We are health focused. Foundation Fitness Initiative. You have to be healthy. You need to be strong to survive. Poisoning yourself is not how we do that. Anywho, great thing to come over to the live chat for before finishing. Let me get one more. Something that's a little, Amy Ellswick, I'm gay. Congratulations. Good work. Can you neutralize 184, the room maker, by placing it in SCP-3008? No, I'm pretty sure that would just make it worse. 3008 is already pretty infinite, and we know that infinite continues to expand, but that would just make it expand faster. Do you see how this could get really bad really fast? We don't want infinity to be infinitized. That's double infinity or infinity squared or some high-level anomalous mathematics that is someone else in the mathematics department. Junior researcher Ryman is supposed to deal with that. It's not my department. Dr. Sherman, are you human? You seem to have survived a lot of tests that should have killed you. Shh. We don't talk about that. And so with that, it's time to end today's stream, as we always end today's stream, with my favorite SCPs. Remember, my favorite SCPs are not the SCPs I've written, because that would be cheating. But if you do want to read the SCPs I've written, they're on my SCP author page, which is in the link in the description of all of my videos, the beacons link right at the top of the description. While you're going to my author page to read my articles, you should make sure to check out the Patreon and the channel members page and donate to the Site-42 cause so we can get that hype new studio we want to make and make bigger and better Site-42 videos. Your support keeps me and Synth and Charles and our guest voice actors going. And the more we can get, the higher a staff we can build, and we can get to the Markiplier, MatPat levels of killing it on YouTube and making crazy art stuff. My dream project right now is in space with Markiplier, but it's SCP Containment Breach. going through the halls, different anomalies, meeting some D-class that you got to run from or save, running from Chaos Insurgents who broke in while the moment was right. Can you imagine that choose-your-own-adventure Markiplier-style thing, but it's SCP Containment Breach? Hell, we get big enough, we can get Markiplier on board. That's what I want. It's a dream. I don't think it'll happen, but I want it. Anyways, as I was saying, my favorite SCPs. Hope you've got your notes. Merrick, I answered about the amazing digital service not being an SCP, but if it were, earlier in this video, actually. So make sure to watch the VOD, because I do talk about it. But my favorite SCPs, hope you got your pens, are 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, and 5320. I'll say them one more time. 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, and 5320. Thank you very much, Site-42 staff. This has been an excellent SCP Dr. Sherman's office hours. Do your duty, stay safe, secure, contain, protect, and I'll see you in the next video. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free.